Okay, welcome online students. What I'm going to try to do today is give you a little overview of the parts of speech. I've given you the chapters in the book that you need to be going over to reinforce the parts of speech, but we're going to look today and just go over a few of those together. Hopefully this will help you as you go to take the quizzes and as you go to do the concepts in Plato. Remember, do your Plato assignments first. Take the mastery test. If you can make it through the mastery test without having to go through the tutorial, that's fine. But do your Plato assignments, then go in and try to take those assessments. So, what we're going to do is just review briefly the parts of speech. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as I can because I know you're not going to want to sit for, a 45 minutes like we would in the classroom going over these concepts, so I'll try and get through it fairly quickly. First off, reach back in your memory and try to pull out those 8 basic parts of speech that you talked about when you were in elementary school. Even in junior high school, you probably addressed these. Try and remember what those 8 basic parts of speech are. Let me get you started. Nouns. Pronouns. They coming back to you? Think about them. What about verbs? Adverbs. Adjectives. Think of any more? Prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. That's one that usually people forget about. We don't use interjections that much. We don't talk about them very much, so people usually forget about that one. Okay, let's talk about nouns quickly. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Easy, right? Person. We have a girl. We can have a teacher. A place, state, a college. A thing, we might have a car, we might have a book, I love to read, okay? An idea, these are those things that people sometimes forget that these things are nouns. When we're talking about ideas, we're talking about things like love, trust, faith, honor, duty, commitment. Those things are real. We can't see them, we can't touch them, but we know they are there. They're real, and those are what we call abstract nouns. Abstract because we can't count them, we can't measure them, we can't see them, but we know they are there. Now, let's go back and look at these 3 things real quickly. When I say a person, I say a girl, a teacher. These are what we call common nouns. Common nouns. Okay? If I address that girl specifically, if I call that girl by name, all right, let me find a place on the board here. Let me move on over here. I should have started on the other side of the board and worked that way, but that's okay. When I call that girl by name, maybe her name is Wendy. Okay. If I call that teacher by name, it's Beck. Then I have what we call a proper noun. Place. If I got a state, of course Arkansas is the name of a state. I'm calling a specific state noun. Or a college, Pulaski Technical College. Technical, I can't spell. Pulaski Technical College. That car, maybe I'm talking about a Honda. Or I'm talking about because this is a make, I can even talk about the model of the car, a Pilot, a Honda Pilot. If I'm talking about a book and I call that book by name, let's see, Where the Red Fern Grows. And this probably isn't a good example because it's a title and we actually capitalize titles differently. But the difference that I want you to see here is when we have a common noun, we do not capitalize it. When we call something by its specific name, whether it be a person, place, or thing, then we need to capitalize those because those are proper nouns. And I mention this because a lot of times people capitalize words that they don't necessarily have to. Words like church. If I just say I'm going to church, then I do not need to capitalize that. If I call that church by name, then yes, it would be capitalized. Or doctor. If you say I have an appointment with my doctor this afternoon, doctor there does not have to be capitalized. If you say I have an appointment with Dr. Jones, then yes, we would capitalize that because it would be coming before his name and would be a part then of the name. Dr. Jones would be a proper noun there. So, watch out for that. That really helps with capitalization when in your sentences when you look to see if it's a word that you don't know if it needs capitalized or not. If it's part of a specific name, then yes, it needs to be capitalized. If not, then it does not. Okay? All right, let's move on from nouns. We will talk later on about collective nouns because that will be very important when we get to subject-verb agreement, but that's enough about nouns for today. I don't think you've got any information on collective nouns in your Play-Doh this week. All right, pronouns. If you looked at your book, you should know that a pronoun replaces a noun or a pronoun later on in the sentence. Okay? If I have a sentence like, the girl lost her book. My pronoun in this sentence would be her because I am using the pronoun her to replace the girl. I don't have to say the girl lost the girl's book. No, the girl lost her book. If we did not have pronouns, things would get very redundant. Take the sentence, when Paul sat down to take Paul's test, Paul heard a cell phone ringing behind Paul. Well, I don't have to do that. I can use pronouns and instead I can say, when Paul sat down to take his test, he heard a cell phone ringing behind him. Okay? So pronouns are very important, and it's very important to know how to use them correctly. Later on in the semester, we'll talk about a pronoun antecedent agreement. The antecedent for the pronoun is the word, the noun or the pronoun that the pronoun is replacing. Here, her is replacing the girl, so the girl is the antecedent there. But pronouns, again, pronouns we use to replace nouns or other pronouns within the sentence. Okay?